Welcome to Cox Connections, a link between you, our customers, and what's happening in the community we share. I'm Kim Stanley, Vice President of Operations for Cox Roanoke. In the United States of America, the law governs us, not an individual, the military, nor a special interest group. An idea in 2008 to create an experimental middle school curriculum project in Virginia has rapidly become a plan to teach the rule of law to young students around the world. Here to tell us more about the Rule of Law project are Mike Pace, partner at Gentry Locke Rakes & More, and Tim Isaacs, State Education Coordinator for the Rule of Law project at the Virginia Bar Association. Thank you both for joining us today.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's good to see you as always.
You too.
All right, so why don't you explain to us what is the Rule of Law?
Well, the rule of law is an ancient concept, but in America, it's the source of all of the individual rights and then the collective rights that our citizens have. It's based on the notion that we consent to be governed by laws that are fair and are equally applied. It's just not being taught that way. So talk to us about how is the process of this rule of law in our country? Well, it's most evident, I think, in our judicial system because we have independent judges and we have lawyers and judges who work day in and day out to apply the rule of law. But it's evident in all parts of our structure.
Okay.
The three branches of government, separation of powers, are all based on the rule of law.
Okay.
And I would
Tim?
add that the Constitution and the fact that we have been able to amend the Constitution when we see that the rule of law is not being applied equitably allows us to change to make sure that it is employed effectively.
Okay. So understanding the rule of law now, talk to us about the Virginia Bar Association has started this project, the Rule of Law project. Why don't you explain a little bit about that to us?
Well, we'll both take that one.
Okay.
When I was president of the Virginia Bar Association in 2008, this actually started as a table conversation at home with my daughter Kate, who was in civics class in City of Salem schools at the time. What came from that was the idea that teachers had limited resources and time and needed help in teaching this concept about the rule of law. And so we developed a way where local bar associations and local school divisions work together to team teach the students about the rule of law.
Okay.
Once the Virginia Bar Association and the Virginia Law Foundation came forward to support the idea, it was simply a matter of getting local bar associations and local school divisions connected to have this happen in the classrooms. And that is now happening across the state.
Okay.
What happened 2 weeks ago was that the Roanoke Bar Association and the Salem-Roanoke County Bar Association, working with the schools in Salem, Roanoke County, and Roanoke City, taught all middle school students on one day about the rule of law. That was about 2,100 kids and about 60 volunteer lawyers and judges and about an equal number of teachers, and the kids loved it.
And speaking of that, so you went into the middle schools and it was kind of like a co-taught, you had a business representative and the teacher in there, but talk a little bit about a couple of the things that you did discuss. I mean, what specific things do you touch on with those students?
That varies from locale to locale. What we do is we have created on our website a series of lesson plans, a series of discussion topics, a series of prompts that the teachers and lawyers can use to get students stimulated or to have them write for 5 minutes at the beginning of class and use that as a springboard. Topics like define the rule of law. What does it mean to you? Which would you rather have, a fair society or a just society? What would happen if we woke up tomorrow morning and there were no lawyers or judges? Mm-hmm. And one student, after thinking about that, said, anarchy. Well, that's exactly what we would have. Mm-hmm. And so the actual implementation of lessons depends on what the teacher and the lawyer volunteer want to do for that class, and also what they want to use from the website.
Sounds very interactive.
Very.
What are the students saying? What feedback are you getting from the students?
Interesting. They are very engaged and they want to understand, they want to know more. One of the things that we use as an exercise in class is a real case in Virginia decided by the Virginia Supreme Court where a teacher brought a gun to school. She didn't mean to, but she did. And the question is, what should happen to her as a result of bringing the gun to school? And you have that class discussion, and they'll pretty much divide up that the teacher did the right thing by turning herself in, but yet you apply the rule of law to her equally and what happens.
That's great. And then the lawyers and the judges, because you also have judges who are going in.
Yes.
What are they saying back to you? I mean, what are they getting from the program, and what are their thoughts?
I think, and Mike has a closer relationship with them than I do, but from what I've heard so far, I've had emails from judges and lawyers saying they want to do this again. And we have some lawyers and judges in this area that are doing it for the third time. And others who are saying, we can't wait till next year to do this again.
Wow, that's great.
Many of them have said that reminds them of the reason why they became lawyers and judges in the first place.
That's great. And then you also have some international recognition as well. I mean, it's really, the program has just taken off, and it's expanded, and it's much needed. And I know that on our camera here, we've got the website address and all of that as well for people to get more involved and hear more about the Rule of Law Project. Michael, Tim, thank you so much for joining us today.
Kim, thanks for having us.
Thank you very much, Kim.
Thank
you.
We
appreciate it.
When we return, you will get the answers to the most commonly asked technical questions so you can get the most out of your Cox services.